tons to do on the farm today. Before we get to all those projects, gonna get in a quick run. Way back, probably about 30 years ago, I had a PE teacher that put it in my head, and it's been pretty firmly implanted ever since, that physical fitness in his mind was being able to exercise for 30 minutes in an emergency or to do something. So let's say, find yourself in some serious situation. Could you jog for help for 30 minutes? Could you lift, move things to get off or help someone, again, for 30 minutes without becoming fatigued, exhausted, or worse, end up in a health crisis yourself? So that has always stuck with me. It's something I've tried to stay to, sometimes better than others, but I love running, going for a jog, especially a trail run out in the woods. So that's what I'm gonna do. My new reality is that I have to carry these Epi Pens with me even when I go jogging, especially out here. If I were to get stung, I'd be far enough away from people that the only person that's gonna help me is myself, and got some water. So get in a quick 5K, and then we'll go out and get to projects on the farm. Oh, that felt great. Broke a little sweat, got in a quick run. Was thinking while I was running, which is great. It's what I love. One of the things I love about running is time to think and pray. That 30-minute rule in an emergency, of course, that goes back pre-cell phones, when you might be in a situation where the nearest help or the nearest phone could be 30 minutes away. So being able to get there quickly might make the difference between life and death. I actually still think for those of us that live out in the country in rural life, out on a farm or homesteads, that idea of physical fitness and being able to do stuff, it may take a while before any help actually gets to you, and that'd be the case where we are. So it's just not something I hear a lot of people, especially on YouTube channels with homesteads and stuff, talking about, is physical fitness side of things. I mean, we certainly try to be good stewards of the land and raise our own food and eat healthy, but that aspect of it, especially as we get older, and I think sometimes you can think, well, I work hard and it's hard physical labor, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're in good shape. I mean, if you're a professional logger and you're going out running a big chainsaw all day long for 8 or 10 hours dragging around big, huge trees, then yeah, you're burning a lot of calories and probably in unbelievable shape. But for the rest of us, maybe, where it's a little bit of stuff, or we're using modern equipment and we're not having to really do the hard physical labor, I just don't know that we're in necessarily that great a shape. So anyways, I think about the Wrangler Star channel, Mrs. Wrangler Star, going out running, and man, kudos to her and congratulations on qualifying for the Boston Marathon and actually going and running it. That is fantastic. That would be so cool to do, and to get one of those blue and yellow jerseys and jackets. So congratulations to her. All right, let's get out onto the farm and get some work done today. Enough playing in the woods. First order of the day is to get out here in this field and get some sunflower seeds planted. So if you've been following the video updates that we've been doing about trying to do a no-till garden in this half-acre field that we have on our property, you can see this is what we did. We tilled it up a couple of weeks ago, we put in 50 sunflower seeds in each of these 4 by 8 foot little areas, and had roughly a 60% germination rate. So these are the seeds that we just stuck straight into the soil as it is. And then if you look over here, obviously, well, the ones that have done best, these are the sunflower seeds that we put in. You can see how tall they are, in with chicken manure. So this is the dirt and chicken manure, and these are clearly the healthiest and the biggest at this point already. The problem is we don't have that much manure to spread on this half-acre field, so we're probably going to go with just putting in the seeds. Look down at the other beds with manure, chicken manure, and slightly decomposed wood chips. They're doing pretty well. I mean, these ones are certainly doing bigger or better than just in the dirt, but not as good as the chicken manure. And then the ones that are doing, as one might expect, least well are the sunflower seeds growing in the dirt where we added just decomposed wood chips, or the wood chips in here. Partly though, this plot was getting less sun, so when it would come up in the morning, these two plots down here, or sections, test plots, were not getting a sun as early as these ones. So I don't know if that's a part of the issue here, is that those have just gotten more sun than these. But I think what we're going to do is go with just putting seeds into the dirt. Now Isaac did the math on this, get him to explain how he figured out how many seeds we're going to put down.
So when we made the plots 8 feet by 4 feet, we put 50 seeds in each plot, and that we got about 60% germination rate, so not as much as we wanted. So to increase the amount of germination rate,
well, what do we got to do? We got to plant how many seeds now, when you did the math, to get 50 plants per 32 square feet?
Well, I got about 83 seeds per plot to raise the amount to get about 50 seeds.
Okay. So, and the field is how many? This half-acre field is about how many square feet?
Like
22,000.
Yeah.
So it's a half acre, and which means when you weighed 83 seeds, right?
Yeah.
And then multiplied it out, did all the math, which ends up in pounds. How many pounds of seeds do we have to put down?
About 1.5 pounds.
Okay. So we'll probably till and put down 2 pounds, just to be extra sure, and that should do it. Is it good knowing the math, how to do it?
Yeah.
Real world math problems. When will you ever use this stuff?
Yeah.
Did you use it?
Yeah.
All right. So it may seem counterintuitive to till a field to turn it into a no-till field, but we got to break up the ground a little bit one last time in order to get the seeds into the ground. Second thing I think some people have asked, and if you haven't watched the previous videos, is why sunflower seeds, or why are we doing sunflower seeds versus something else, or why aren't we just putting in a vegetable garden out here? Well, the reason we're doing this is to create the fertile soil that we might down the road be able to actually use and plant this as a vegetable garden, or put some other things up here if we would like. But right now the soil is not very fertile. There's only a couple of inches where anything is really growing. So the idea with the sunflower seeds, in conversation with Mark at I Am Organic Gardening, is to get these sunflower seeds in, which they should be, I think. I mean, even though they're cheap from Tractor Supply, I think these are gray stripe sunflower seeds, which means they should grow between 7 and 12 feet tall, and also put roots deeply into the ground and spread pretty wide, which is what we need to have happen in order to create the fertile soil. Is we got to get roots down in the ground. Secondly, it'll give forage for our bees late in the summer when there's not a lot else in bloom, for both nectar and pollen. And then lastly, we are hunters. We dove hunt, love to go dove hunting. Labor Day weekend, that has been a family tradition since I was a little kid, and all the way back from my father, the kid's grandfather. So this would be something that would attract dove to our farm in the fall. So we would again be able to harvest something else off the land for us to use. But this is 2 pounds of sunflower seeds that Isaac measured out. So this should give us 50 plants per 32 square feet, if the math is right. So we're going to spread these out, till the soil lightly. We've got a tall sprinkler we'll put out, and we'll start watering this, and hopefully get seeds to start coming up here within the week, or certainly within 2 weeks. And we'll bring you along and show you how this field turns out throughout the summer. Hard to believe, but that was already 9 days ago when we planted seeds. But so this is how much taller these sunflower seeds are in just those 9 days. So they're doing pretty well in most of the spots. But I'm going to show you real quick that we've got seeds already coming up where we sowed them in the field. These are the sunflower seeds that have come up since April 29th, and we got a pretty decent germination rate in most places. They've come up. We got a little heavy-handed in some spots, and in other, but they are coming up throughout the field. So far, so good. Go show real quick just how things are doing in the raised beds in the back to Eden in the wood chips, and then we're going to go out and just finish the video in the woods, which is where we've spent most of our time in the last 9 days. So let's head out to the garden. Up in the garden we did just these couple of raised beds, or well, yeah, where we put in some compost that we had, what little bit we had inside of these wood chips, and it's doing great so far. The sugar snap peas, got some tomato plants that have already started putting out got some tomatoes already coming along. But honestly, these are the best tomato plants we've had so far in the time we've lived out here. That's how bad the dirt anywhere we've tried to plant tomatoes have just not really done well organically without adding fertilizer or putting anything on them. So these are doing wonderful. The onions are doing well, and some of the other things are doing. We've put in some more seeds back here, and things are starting to come along. Some sweet potato plants down there. So excited about this. And then we started another area over here where we've put in some, what we did was just instead of doing whole raised beds, we took a 5-gallon bucket of compost, dug holes in the wood chips, filled it with the compost, and planted watermelon seeds in there. Don't know how that'll work, but we're trying to stretch what little compost we have left and actually get some things to grow. So we figured we'd give that a shot. Well, let's go out in the woods. One other little update was that we did get all 6 of our hives that are here on the farm moved over to this part of the property away from the garden where we work. And I'll just add that since shot the beginning of this and I went out running, got a pack, if you have to carry Epi Pens, got this on Amazon, this React pack, which is pretty nice for carrying both of these Epi Pens. But the cool part about it is, aside from having a clip for your belt, it has this carabiner that goes on there, which has already been helpful to attach this to your belt loop so that when you're moving or doing something, it can't actually fall off of your belt and fall down, because I've a couple of times found it where it was hanging from my belt loop. So that's pretty good. All right, now on to the woods. This is where we have been most of the last 9 days. The weather's been really nice, very cool, hard not to get up here and work up in the woods. I'm trying to also clear up the understory and get sticks and things moved off so that we can shred or move out of the woods for other purposes like running around in the woods and things. But part of this is in hopes of opening up this understory so that we can see down from the woods down in and through to the pond and down to the stream in the woods. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the video, but we're hoping, amongst all the other projects like finishing the shop and getting the greenhouse in, some long-term dream, fantasy, building a cabin out here in the woods. So the hill continues to slope up behind Isaac that way to the main trail. So what we're thinking is it's kind of a bridge that would go out to a cabin that would be probably somewhere up here, would be the bottom of the, where we would be standing, so that we really have this view. Here, I'll take the camera, and this is what it would look like, what we think it would look like from up here. This is what the view would look like. There's Isaac down there and the stream behind him, and then there's Sam right there. Wave, Sam. And the pond out that way. So you can see all the way down around. So if we get these trees thinned out, cleared, this would be a pretty awesome place to have a cabin down out in the woods. Well, that's it. It's actually probably too much. Sorry that this video got so long. Just a lot going on. Did not get a chance, didn't have the time to finish editing and get it uploaded 9 days ago. And a lot has happened since then. So trying to get everything into this one video, try and make them shorter in the future, but it is what it is, and that's the documenting our projects and things that are going on out here. It is a very busy month, May, coming up, so I don't know how much we'll be working and how many projects we'll even get to filming or uploading. Try to if we can. But I think that's it. I hope everybody's well, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, take care. God bless.